On time.
What's up, boys?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good.
That's a handsome looking shirt. Where'd you get that?
I had some guy made it for me.
I love Drew's text in our group that the loser of the fantasy league has to go steal Gary Williams' lawn furniture.
Yeah, can one of our fans please write in something about what the loser of our Gary Williams league has to do for punishment? Because we've thrown a lot of them out there. And we haven't really settled on one yet.
Yeah. Let us know if you have any ideas for a fantasy football punishment. We're not going to be too crazy. None of us are going to take the SATs, but we can do something within reason.
I thought, I know last week when we had John Moorhead on, and that was kind of spur of the moment, but that was actually really informative with the kickoff rules and stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to people about that. I wonder if they're going to do anything to change it, given that.
I've been reading, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow or Wednesday on the NFL show. But I've been reading a lot about how the market's not adjusting for over/under totals early in the year yet, and I think the new kickoff rule is going to make games go over more often because there's so much more variance. So if you get the ball, the team's going to get the ball starting inside their 25 a lot more, or starting on the 35 a lot more. So there's going to be a lot more movement and a lot of things happening. So if you start with the ball on the 15 and you go 3 and out, then the other team's going to be at the 50-yard line to start the next drive. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be.
I mean, but Vegas will adjust their over-unders to make sure that it's still an even playing field.
Yes, so they will. They will in week 2 or 3. But if you look at the prices, they're kind of priced exactly as they were last year based on the.
Right.
So that's just what I've been reading. I don't know for sure. Obviously, that could be completely random. But
I wonder. Now, I was Vegas plugged in, but I wonder that you keep hearing some of these sports talk shows. Name that talk show that a lot of teams are keeping what their strategy is close to the vest till the regular season starts, and not showing it in the preseason. So maybe Vegas hasn't had a chance to adjust yet.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name that does PFF?
Steve Palazzolo, I think.
No, the dark-haired guy. I think he's the guy that pissed off Lamar last year for the 49ers game.
I don't know. I mean, Chris Collinsworth has part of Pro Football Focus.
I have no idea. You're not talking about Warren Sharp, right? I know you don't like him.
No, it was somebody else. He was anyway, he was on McAfee show the other day, and he said that there is one more owners meeting before the season starts where they have on the agenda to go over the kickoff rule again. And I guess there is a situation where it could change before the season. I think they said if 24 out of the 30 owners vote on it to change it or change something about it, that they will change, that they can change it. But because some people were speculating this as well, if it's not going as planned the first couple of weeks, they would change it sometime during the season. But he was very adamant that will not happen. Like if it starts the season, it'll go all the way through the season until next year. So, but there is a situation where it could change again. Like reality is it's going to change as far as like kicking it into the end zone or not, where you're going to get it on what yard line you're going to get it on.
Yeah.
Because he said, like, as it stands right now, a lot of people are still going to try to kick it into the end zone because 5 yards isn't going to make the difference. But if it's 10 yards, then that's where teams are going to be like, all right, now it's worth it for us to try to not do that.
I mean, once you start the season with it, you got to finish the season with it, no matter how much you hate it, how much people bitch, ourselves included. Yeah, you can't change it in the middle of the season. That'd be absolutely bogus.
I mean, we'll find out. I mean, we only got like a week and a half till kickoff, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's start it up. All right. Welcome to the August 26th edition of our Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture podcast. I'm pretty hungover today, so I'm going to let these boys talk a lot more than me today, but I'm going to do my best. We're going to talk about the O's, obviously, start off, talk about the O's, talk about Tony's biggest tater. We're going to talk about Jackson Holliday's clutch triple or clutch double or triple, or I think it was a basic clearing double. We're going to talk about Ramon Urias being the best player on the Orioles. We're going to talk about Judge and Ohtani making history this week. Keegan Bradley winning the BMW championship. Some terrible news in NFL front. Ravens offensive line coach Joe Delisandris passes away. We'll talk about him. And we like to announce, we said this last week, that we are going to be doing our NFL preview show this Wednesday live at noon. So if you guys want to hear our takes on the NFL, if you want to get some gambling advice, we're going to do over-unders, awards, everything like that. So Wednesday, that'll be Wednesday at noon. And we'll put that up on our social medias and stuff. And if you have any questions about the NFL or anything like that, we have a couple of friends already asked us questions about the NFL. We have those saved, and we're going to be talking about those as well. We'll do our That's a Shame as we always do. And then our snake draft this week is best QBs of all time. And this is going to be controversial. I don't know if it'll be quite as controversial as our best Beavers draft last week, because I have been getting so much shit for that from everyone I meet. But yeah, we're gonna that's what our lineup is today. We'll start off with the Orioles series versus the Mets. We lost 2 out of 3. Both the games we lost on walk-offs. Sir Anthony Dominguez took the L in both of those games. What did you guys see in that series in particular?
Do we hate how Anthony Dominguez, besides the result, obviously, that wasn't a terrible pitch, I didn't think. But yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks losing 2 out of 3 to a Mets team, but they are surging.
Yeah.
They're still in the race. They still got something to fight for, so it's not like they're going to lay down for us. But yeah, hopefully, our offense, I think we have one good offensive game that series. I don't know. It's hard to think back that far after we just came off that Astros series, but I know in the Astros series, our offense started to come along with a lot of stuff in terms of situational stuff that we've talked about. But yeah, the Mets series was a little disappointing for sure.
From a higher level perspective, it just seems like, we were talking about earlier, 7 podcasts ago, whatever the hell it was, about how we'd rather go through a lull now than later. We're still kind of in a weird lull, and it seems like we can't put the whole package together. Either the pitching's going semi-good and the hitting is down, or vice versa. And we really need to figure this out now. There's no more time. You are in the real deal time now.
Yeah.
So it just seems like we can't put it all together.
Yeah. Quickly, we'll talk about. Yeah. Look, we had a little bit of a rough series for Dominguez, like Brooks said. Not exactly the worst pitches he's ever thrown. He's got great stuff. Sometimes the hitters are just good, man. And Lindor and Alvarez, those are good players. But he bounced back in the Houston series. He had 2 save opportunities, didn't allow a base runner. So he looked great in the Houston series against a great team, a great lineup when it mattered. So not as worried about him, more worried about the middle part of the bullpen and the setup innings, because it's been rough. Birchbeer got rocked last night.
Yeah. Didn't look great. They were not cheapies either. They were not cheapies.
They were bombs.
Hey, look, if you're going to give them up, hey, give them up. All right. I don't know why going to the first row. Go 17 rows back. All right. Give them up.
Yeah. Look, I want to talk about Lindor just for a second. That dude is just going on a tear right now. But he looks like he's single-handedly winning games for the Mets. This is a Mets team that in the game they lost against us, the game we won, Gunnar hit a shallow fly ball to left field that ended up scoring everyone. And it looks like a little league team throwing the ball back and forth and from left field to home to third base to left field. But Lindor, it seems like he's just carrying them on his back the whole season. They were not supposed to be a good team this year. They were in a rebuild. They lost Verlander. They lost Scherzer. They lost DeGrom a couple years ago. Kodai Senga, who was their best pitcher last year, has not pitched an inning for them. And he's just propelling this team into having a chance to win or to make a wild card run. And so I think he's been a super underrated player in baseball this year. 25 homers, 25 homers, doubles, and stolen bases. That's a very valuable player.
Why does it feel like the New York Mets are where players go to die, kind of like going to like Cleveland or something? And they're in New York. They're in a major market. The fact that you're like, he's underrated. He's in a major market. And it's
Well, I think he's just underrated because nobody
Mets.
really followed him for most of the year this year, just because everyone just expected him to stink, and they've kind of been, I don't know, I'd say relatively average, better than what we thought they were going to be, but average in terms of what the league is, right? But they're keeping themselves in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a pretty damn good chance we see them in the playoffs. Not the Orioles, but like,
Yeah. I mean, they're
Just
2.5 games back out of the wild card right now. So they have, I mean, there's 30 games left. Anything can happen. They could go on a run and they could make it in. Atlanta could falter. They got a lot of injury problems, and Arizona and San Diego are both chasing down LA. So I mean, it's going to be interesting in both leagues, honestly, because they're so it's so tight. It does feel nice this week that a couple of the other teams in the wild card picture in the American League didn't have great weeks. Kansas City, Minnesota, and Boston all lost a couple of games in a row. So the Orioles are 3 games up on the second place team in the wild card as of now. We're a game and a half behind the Yankees, who are just on a tear. Aaron Judge just eating baseballs. I said for breakfast for the last couple of weeks. He's eating it for lunch and dinner too, dude. He's just destroying baseballs.
how many's he got now? Is he at 50? He's got
51.
51.
51.
51 yesterday. Him, Stanton, and Soto went back to back to back.
Yeah, I can't emphasize this enough. Now, remember how terrible his first 2 months were?
Yeah.
Like, he's done this over the course of like 3 months.
It's absolutely outrageous. While we're talking about Aaron Judge, we can do a little trivia. Don't look at the rundown here. Aaron Judge is the 5th player in MLB history to have 50 home runs in 3 different seasons. Who are the other 4?
One's cake. That's Sammy Sosa.
Yes,
Bonds.
that is correct. Barry Bonds is not correct.
Mhm.
Just crazy.
Not McGuire.
McGuire
Babe
is on
Ruth?
there. Sammy Sosa, McGuire, Babe Ruth. It's 3 out of the 4. We got one more.
Ryan Howard.
No. Great answer. Great call.
Good call.
The big piece. I love that guy.
Juan Gonzalez?
It is not Juan Gonzalez. You might think of him on that same team, though.
Oh, A-Rod?
A-Rod is the answer. A-Rod did it back-to-back years for the Texas Rangers, and then did it in with the Yankees in 2007, I believe. Judge has a .465 on base percentage this season. That is real good. And he's on pace to break.
The delivery was really good, and you did like that dog turn.
Yeah,
Not bad.
He's
Not
on pace to
bad.
break his own record, which he set a couple of years ago, 62 homers, and I bet our buddy Tim is hoping he does it. Let's get back on the Orioles, though. Let's talk about the Astros series a little bit. I wrote on the notes, I don't think we had any business winning any of these games. Tony Taters came out of nowhere with the grand slam of the century. I've watched the video probably 600 times. And then Colton Cowser's hustle play the following night, sliding into first base and getting on and allowing Jackson to come up and rip that double was awesome. So we kind of snuck away with a couple games, but the back end of our bullpen did its thing in those 2 games. What did you guys think about this series in general?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to repeat myself. Basically, one day we were hitting, one day we weren't. One day we were pitching, one day we weren't, and never like meshed. It's really the same things. I love perspective. I'm not going to go nitty gritty because I don't want to beat down a team that's 20 games below 500.
Yeah, I mean, watching that Cowser play, and honestly, just the way that they played the entire series, doesn't look like a team that's given up on their manager to me. Just the way that they play and the way that they act towards their teammates when they do something well. just because I've seen that a ton on Twitter recently. And I just wanted to point that out. And I also wanted to point out that we don't know what the fuck is going on in the locker room. Not us, not you, unless you're in there. So I just that was one thing that was bothering me a little bit, saying that Brandon Hyde lost the locker room. No, he hasn't. Like it's ridiculous. Like a team that cares about each other that much, when you see like stuff go well and like Cowser putting his body on the line and making that hustle play to extend an inning is not a team that has given up on their manager, or a manager that has lost any credibility in the locker room. So it just bugs me. People get upset. Like I know when Burns was yelling at the umpire, like everybody wants Hyde to get thrown out at every single thing.
Yeah.
Like you really got to pick your spots here. I mean, there's no reason. There's no reason to. You can say that you're going to back your players, but like, yeah, you do. You're going to an extent, but there's only so much you can do. Like, is it really going to change anything? So you're really going to pick your spots, and right now is probably not that spot. Maybe sometime in September, if the team's not going, because now, like September 1st on, is when we need to start hitting the gas a little bit here, hopefully. But I mean, again, we got reinforcements coming. Knock on wood. Another thing we need to think about here is that we're, like Brian said, 20 games over 500, and we have 11 of our starters, of our regular players, on the IL. So, we just split with the hottest team in baseball.
Yeah, it's typical nature of a sports fanatic. You got to place blame somewhere, right? Something's not going the way you like it. You got to place blame. Fuck that. Who cares? Just look, we're 20 games above 5. We're going to get some reinforcements back, like Brooks said. Very encouraged to see Felix Bautista through a bullpen. Not that he's coming back this year, but that's at least encouraging. And we're going to get a couple guys back. I'm assuming Westy is going to come back at some point or another. We're going to get into the playoffs. Knock on wood, let's all hell breaks loose when the meteor hits Canham Yards. And maybe Westy comes back for the playoffs, and we could be the Rangers from last year. I'm not looking on the positive side of things. We can just get smoking hot. Right now, Ramon Urias, his jockstrap is popping out of his pants. He's hitting the ball so well.
Talk about somebody who's stepping up right now.
Yes.
In terms of like stepping up when he's been giving a chance now, and kind of just like mending the gap right now. Yeah. Between Westy being out and now, because I mean, we tried to bring Mayo up and hoping his stick would give us a little bit of lift. Obviously it didn't quite yet. But I mean, the guy's playing okay defense. He's making some great plays here and there. He's also making some really boneheaded errors here and there as well. But I mean, the guy's hitting situationally pretty well right now. Yeah. So I mean, we got to give a lot of props to that guy right now. And I think we talked about that either before the show or right when the show was starting. It was Ramon Urias has been helping this fucking team stay in the race.
Yeah. Last 15 games, which is basically how long Westberg has been out. He's hitting 302 with an OPS over 1,000. He is absolutely amazing. And what a great teammate, having to sit on the bench basically the whole year. Really, really tough thing to do, and never complained. Always came to the ballpark, did his job. He's struggling in the field, but he's hitting the shit out of the ball. He's been the best hitter on the Orioles. What we got, Brooks?
Hand up accountability. I got to call myself out here. I wanted him DFA'd a couple months ago. Yeah. I'm an asshole.
You weren't the only one, man. You weren't the only one.
No, but I just didn't think there was going to be room left for anybody else. I didn't think we were going to have a choice.
Well, we didn't think our whole roster was going to die.
Well, yeah, and we really didn't. I mean, obviously he wasn't playing the greatest then either, but he was kind of like that was the last the person who made the most sense to me when I was looking at the roster. But thank God that we didn't.
What's Pateo's situation? When is he slated to come back sometime soon?
It doesn't look like he's coming back this year.
He's on the 60-day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that explains that. All right.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's coming back this year.
But do we have any injury updates? Like, what about like Westy? Is Westy supposed to come back in the next couple weeks?
Westworth
back
is
in September. Coulomb is supposed to come back in September, and Eflin, good news on Eflin, saying his shoulder feels a million times better. He's thinking after the 15 days are up, he's going to go right straight back into the rotation. No rehab starts or anything. So getting him back is going to be huge. Obviously, in the 4 starts he had with the Orioles, he's got like a 2 ERA, and he's won all 4 games. So that's a guy we need.
Last I saw, it was Webb and Coulomb were mid-September. Mateo was 60-day, but I also heard that there was a outside chance if everything went like exceedingly well that he could be back for playoffs. But that's something I'm not going to bet on.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody else.
Westberg, where are we at, Westberg?
I think nobody has said yet, but everyone is expecting him to be back. If I had to guess, he's probably feels okay here right now, but there's no reason to right now.
They were talking about on the broadcast that he was taking one-handed grounders the other day, which means nothing.
Yeah.
But at least he's out on the field. He's still active. He had some wackadoodle device on his cast. I believe it was like a digital device on his cast.
He's got some kind of like bone stimulator thing, they said, that he has to do so many times or for so long throughout the day that's supposed to help with it or something. I don't know.
Well,
yeah, I mean, his replacement has been the best player on the Orioles for the last 2 weeks, so we're doing all right there. While we're talking about the injury bug, Mountcastle and Mullins have been day to day. They haven't played the last couple games. I found this particularly interesting because I don't really love Mountcastle not playing yesterday because it tells me that he's not feeling good and it's his wrist, which is a lingering kind of thing. Because if you look at Mountcastle's numbers against Yusei Kikuchi, they're like otherworldly. He's like 10 for 20 with 5 dingers against him or something like that. When Mountcastle was just tearing the Blue Jays up, whenever Kikuchi pitched, you could just count on Mountcastle to just torch him. So him not playing yesterday was a little bit alarming for me. The guy who was playing first base yesterday, I had never heard of him until this weekend. And I am a co-host of an Orioles podcast, so we need to get him back.
Let me tell you, it's not on the rundown. And screw it. And shame on us. Slater is a stud. Oh my goodness. The guy just doesn't produce in any capacity they can. But I think the guy sells hot dogs in between innings. He crushes it.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been playing well and defensively too.
Yeah, so. He was a kind of a last minute like pick up at the deadline that we thought was just going to get a couple spot starts and get DFA'd, but he's had to hit. We faced a ton of lefties and he's producing. And he's hitting leadoff, which is crazy.
Is he a utility guy or is he just an outfielder?
He's just an outfielder,
I don't know much about him other than I love his name and that he produces in whatever capacity he needs to produce in, even if it's taking walks.
Yeah, I think it was him and that Soto, that third baseman Soto that came from Cincinnati, and I think we just got it for cash considerations.
Yeah.
I was standing next to a guy. Standing next to a guy, and he was like, "Who's this Slater guy?" I'm like, "He's awesome." And then I shit you not, half a second later, that pitch comes in, he hits it over the wall for what was a 3-run jack or whatever that was, 2-run jack. He's like, and the guy, he's like, "I like this dude." Like, yes, awesome.
Gives us another bat.
Do we think Messiah would come up? I see we got him on the rundown. Do we think Messiah could come up this season? And when we get expanded rosters?
No, I don't think it's a this year move. I think it's a next year move. I think they're going to position him in AAA at the end of this year to start him in AAA at the beginning of next year, and then he could be like one of those like May or June call-ups next year. But he's 20 years old. He's the youngest player in AAA. So now we have the youngest player in major leagues and the youngest player in AAA. But he's been great this year. He's hitting like 285. He's got a bunch of doubles and home runs, extra base hits. And let's see. I mean, double A to AAA is a huge jump. So we'll see how he handles the rest of the season. But he's looking great.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, and I don't want to get way ahead of ourselves. I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. But if he comes up and catches, you can move Adley to first or vice versa, and it makes Mountie expendable.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it does. I mean, you got to look at how it's going to work out, especially if Matty's going to start going to arbitration years where, you're paying him 10, 12, 14 million.
Yeah. The Mountie O'Hearn platoon at first base has been great this season, but I would have imagined that this is probably going to be it for that. And I don't know if one or both of them is going to go, but we got a lot of young talent, so it's a good problem to have. Yeah, I mean, anything else on the Orioles before we move on to the rest of the MLB? I have our upcoming schedule on here. We're off tonight, Monday night, while we're recording this. And then we have our last West Coast trip of the season, 3 at the Dodgers and 3 at Colorado. The first game against the Dodgers is former Oriole great Jack Flaherty versus Cole Irvin. So that's going to be interesting. Assuming Shohei Ohtani is going to keep hitting all kinds of home runs.
Yeah. One thing I do want to bring up again, Keegan Aiken still pitching well. Really don't know why. I don't know. I think he should be. I think he should be getting used a little bit more. So,
I love the batting glove on the bat, Brooks.
I know
that's an old school move.
What's going on here? Yeah. Why don't you have a donut on there too, buddy?
Yeah.
Well,
I wasn't never a donut guy. Did you guys use donuts in the on tech circle?
I mean, I guess yes, it's the answer to your question. But I used to use that like really long one, not like the
white one.
Yeah.
Is that still called a donut? I didn't know what the hell that was called.
Yeah, like the sleeve or whatever.
Yeah,
I never thought about. No, yeah, I was more of the sleeve, and I was more of the just the mechanical weighted bat.
Yeah, I like doing the 2 bats thing. That was an old Babe Ruth move.
All right, babe.
All right, moving on to the rest of the MLB. Arizona has come out of nowhere, and since July 7th, they are 31-11. They are the number 1 National League wildcard team. They're only 3 games back of the Dodgers. We were talking earlier in the year, what the hell happened to them? They made the World Series last year. Corbin Carroll, since July 7th, when they've gone on this run, has played 40 games, and he scored 40 runs. This guy,
Corbin Carroll got laid. He got laid, and all of a sudden he's playing phone. Because earlier in the year, he was a ghost of a human being.
Yeah. We talked about him earlier this season. We talked about it a lot. Corbin, what the hell happened to Corbin Carroll, reigning Rookie of the Year, helped take them to the World Series last year, and just kind of disappeared into the ether. But the last 40 games, he's picking it up, and his numbers on the season still do not look good. So that tells you how rough of a start he had this season. But he's really picking it up, and good for the D-backs, good for that team, good for that city.
Him and what's his name? Their starter is Hale. Is that
Zach Gallen?
Gallen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's fucking killing it. I mean, to use what Jeff Passan said the other day when I was listening to him, they are running down the Dodgers right now. They are seriously like in an all-out sprint to try to pass them.
Yeah. And the Padres are right behind them too. I think they're half a game behind. They're half a game behind the D-backs, and so only less than 4 games behind the Dodgers as well. Jackson Merrill hit a walk-off last night, I believe. By the way, Paul Skeens was minus 5,000 to win Rookie of the Year in the National League like 3 weeks ago, and he is minus 110 with Jackson Merrill now. Jackson Merrill's been kicking ass.
I got 2 things. One is completely off topic. I just got a text. Betsy Turner, thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying yourself down in Key West. Miss you very much. You and Ken have a good one. She's the newest member of our newest subscriber of our podcast. And then I also want to bring up, while on the topic of like just up and coming teams or teams that are chasing people down, a player that is chasing people down. Did you see Jackson Holliday's brother, Ethan, at all during these like All-Star showcase games that were on ESPN? Does Matt Holliday shoot it's like super seeds? Like, what is going on here?
Also, who's Matt Holliday's wife? I mean, she's gotta be a stud too. I mean,
she's probably an Olympic gold medalist or something.
Yeah.
The kids probably come out with the bat and the gloves already, like Brooks has right now. It's come out ready to go.
Yeah. For For those of you who don't know, Jackson Holliday's little brother Ethan is a 17-year-old 6'5" absolute animal of a prospect, probably going to be a number 1 draft pick in the next few years when he gets out of high school.
They're saying he will
but
be the first pick.
He's a complete stud. And a third baseman with an absolute cannon of an arm. So that would be really cool to get the Holiday boys together in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that? Like one of the first podcasts said, like, let's the Orioles tank this year so you can draft Ethan Holiday and have the Holiday boys.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit of a disappointment. And this is going to be that's a shame. The Chicago White Sox are 31-100. 31-100. What a complete disaster of an organization this is. 2 years ago, they were the favorites to win their division. Last year, they were one of the favorites to win their division, and they are the worst team since the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics, and they're chasing down the 1917 Cleveland Spiders as one of the worst teams in the history of baseball. They have to win 10 more games out of their next 30. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. What a fucking joke. If you're a Chicago White Sox fan, just go start watching the Cubs. This sucks. I'm sorry.
I love that their manager won a game after losing whatever it was, 21 in a row, and then they fired.
Yeah.
Sweet, thanks. And I keep harping on this. And I tell people, they're like, oh, they get the first pick in the draft. No, they don't. They cannot draft higher than 10. So they're just terrible.
Yeah. They suck.
They're in shambles. They're in shambles for the next 5 years.
My that's a shame since Dusty did his is this stupid New York Little League coach who called out Aaron Judge for not giving enough attention to the kids. Are you a moron? Your 15 minutes are up, buddy. It's over. Stop being a douche. Yeah. Aaron Judge, all accounts, from everything you read, everything you hear from other players, said he's one of the nicest human beings in the world, gives his time. He does a lot of nice things that they don't talk about. They want to keep under wraps. They go to hospitals and stuff like that. Like it somehow gets out a little bit. Screw you, Bob Lateza, you moron.
Bob Lateza. My that's a shame this week is going to be CB Buckner. This guy's ranked 90th out of 90 umpires this year, and straight up gift wrapped a win to the A's over the Brewers right now, who are in a race for all intents and purposes for that division. He missed 20 calls in that game. 15 of them went against the Brewers, and they lost by a run. And one of those that he missed, I should pull this up on the screen, was a ball that was about almost a foot and a half outside. Almost a foot and a half on the plate that he called a ball for ball 4 and walked in a run. And they lost by a run. So CB Buckner, you fucking suck.
He's got to be the most tenured umpire now, I would assume. I remember that name
up there
from when I was a kid.
Yeah. He's got to be up there for sure.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
do we have the umpire union works? Like you get vetted and you can't get fired?
I don't know. They should get relegated like in soccer, like the bottom 10 every year should go back to AAA or something. Like this is ridiculous.
I agree.
That's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of them just having figure it out. They have nothing that oversees them. I know everyone's gonna say that there is something that they look out for each other, okay? And it's getting fucking like I've watched a couple of these where like they challenge it, they throw to whoever the New York crew is that night, watching over the game, and they get it fucking wrong on obvious plays. Like it's ridiculous. And it's starting to get to the point where like, and I like said this in the group chat where I've been so against having robot umpires and everything like that. I'm like, at this point, I'm getting so frustrated with how bad this is that I'm just like, fucking just do it. Like I'm just
the worst I can remember. Umpiring quality. It's the worst I can remember.
Like, and it's not even like they're being consistent with these calls. Like you're watching these, like some of these calls and you're like, all right, we know there's a couple inches on that side. It's all over the fucking place.
Yeah. And you notice it in every game the Orioles play. Like last night, Santander was pissed off a couple times at the umpire on low and outside pitches. Gunner's been getting a lot of low strikes called on him the last couple weeks, and I'm noticing it a lot more than I have in the past. And maybe it's just because I'm paying more attention because we're really good, but it's been ugly.
Well,
Even-
also, call a spade on this one. You're noticing it more now because they have that box on the screen. Before, you weren't really paying attention.
Me and Brooks used to talk about this as kids all the time when Sunday Night Baseball did that all the time, and we hated it. And I can't stand that box on the screen. And when we had the Apple TV game the other night, they didn't have it on the screen, and I was loving it. Or maybe it was Apple TV, maybe it was Fox. I can't remember.
What do you hate more, the box on the screen, or when hockey used to do that thing where they would have like a flame on the puck? Which one was words?
Didn't they do that for like 20 games and scrap it because everyone hated it so much?
Yeah,
technology.
I think, to be fair, so I did hate that for talking about hockey. I think there's a way to do it to make it good, though. I think you got to make it way smaller so like people who do not have good vision can actually see where the fucking puck is on the screen. But like, you don't need to make it like a flame behind the puck when it goes. Like, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's NHL.
By the way, undercover great N64 game, Wayne Gretzky hockey, 99. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Goalie would turn into a brick wall. Beautiful.
They got NHL 99 on my Xbox machine. I play it every now and then. It's really fun. Let's move on. I got another trivia question for you guys. We got some trivia today. Shohei Ohtani became the 6th player ever to have a 40-40 season. He did so by stealing a base in the 4th inning the other night and then hitting a walk-off grand slam for his 40th stolen base and his 40th home run. If that's not a fucking legendary game, I don't know what is. He is the fastest player ever to reach that milestone. Can you guys name the other 5 guys who have had 40-40 seasons?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't listen to that. Can you sing that again?
Ohtani had has a 40-40 season. He's one of 6 guys in MLB history. Who are the other 5?
I know one, and it's very obscure. I think it's Eric Davis.
Eric Davis is incorrect.
Bonds?
40-40, I would say.
Bonds did it
Bonds,
once.
Henderson.
Done it more than once. Henderson, no.
No, not
Ricky Henderson, Frank Robinson.
But Gary
Bonds
Sheffield.
the only one so far. Nope.
Jose Canseco.
Jose Canseco is correct. You guys have 2 out of the 5.
Willie Mays?
40-40.
Nope.
Did Brady do it in that year?
Nope. We talked about him. We talked about him on the last trivia question.
Juan Gonzalez?
No. His teammate.
A-Rod.
There you go. There's one.
A-Rod had 40 bags.
For the 1998 Mariners. Which I believe is like the best team.
Before he started chugging deer antler spray and his cousin was shooting him in the ass with a needle. Yeah, he actually was fast.
I mean, I would say Griffey, but I don't think he had 40-40.
No, he did not. Somebody did it last year.
I mean, would we say Trout?
Oh, Acuna.
Acuna had 70 stolen bases last year. Had 47. First player ever to do that.
This season, I think he got like 320 and 70 bags, 44
hitting leadoff. The last guy is on a team that you're not going to think of him on, but I'll tell you this as a hint. He used a very big bat, and he was not a very big man.
Alfonso Soriano.
Alfonso Soriano is correct. 2006 Nationals. Look at Alfonso Soriano's 2006 season. Holy shit, that guy was
Holy shit. He was great.
Yeah, and then he went to the Cubs, and he was great for them, too. Terrible outfielder, though.
Awful.
Yeah, so Ohtani, fastest player ever to reach the milestone. He did it 21 games faster than Soriano, who was the previous fastest player. And also, he threw his first pitches off a mound this week since he got Tommy John. So let's not forget this designated hitter is going to start pitching again and be Cy Young caliber, and he's worth every goddamn penny that the Dodgers are going to pay him over the next 20 years. Just crazy. I don't know how that, but I told a couple people that this week, and they were like, "That guy steals bases." They didn't even know because he's so big. He just hits mammoth home runs.
Definitely, you would definitely forget about that. I forget about it. I know that he does, but then like they say a stat like where he's at stolen base wise. I'm like, fuck, I forgot he like stole that many bags all the time.
I mean, he's got a legit chance to be the first 50-50 ever. There's 30 games left in the season. I mean, 10 overs, 10 bags, that's doable for him.
Oh, hell yeah.
He looks good in that Dodge blue. I'm sorry, nothing against the Angels.
He
just looks like a superstar.
Yeah.
In that Dodger blue. Just the look.
Yeah.
Forget the play.
It was a good move for baseball for him to go there too, because it's a bigger market team. He's gonna get a lot more eyes, and especially the season he's having in his first year.
Well, we get to see him in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, which is huge. Like, look, Mike Trout played on the Dodgers all those years. We talked about a hell of a lot more. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about the Angels, except for Tim Salmon.
Remember when the Angels just dumped money all over their team? Artie Moreno, he got like Josh Hamilton,
I think he got
like so much money got dumped into that team. I think he signed with re-up Jared Weaver. Like it was just so ridiculous, and they sucked even worse.
But he's kind of like he has dumped money into that with like Dustin said, Tim Salmon when they had Garrett Anderson,
Darren
Erstad.
Troy Glass was on that team.
Ooh, sexy man.
Eckstein. Damn, Eckstein never gets talked about anymore at all.
By the way, sneaky. It's always a great trivia question. Who won one of the Cardinals World Series? Who won World Series MVP? Freaking David Eckstein. Also, Steve Pierce won for the Red Sox in, I think, 2018.
Good for him, man. I love Steve Pierce.
I think Edgar Renteria stole the World Series MVP in his career as well.
Ooh, that's
love that guy.
Yeah, it might have been the Jim Leland team.
Another guy. So Dustin and I sat next to Steve Pierce on the way to an All-Star game one year, and he was playing in the Futures game. He wasn't even up in the big leagues yet. He was still with the Pirates organization, and had no fucking idea who this guy was. We flew next to him. We were next to him the entire flight from Baltimore to San Francisco, and we literally just started talking about baseball. And I'm like, all right, this dude is jacked, but he's, for all intents and purposes, he's not very big. Like he's like 5'9", like he's smaller than us. Yeah. And we're looking at this dude, and comes up that he's playing in the Futures game. And I checked after we get off the flight, I looked at his stats. And I'm like, Dustin, this guy is fucking raking in the minor league.
It's like a top 20 prospect in baseball, and we were sitting next to him the whole freaking flight. We had no idea.
Nicest guy. He talked to us the entire time. Like it was
middle seat. Is in the middle seat right there?
We went to the Futures game the next day.
Yeah,
and we
went
told us to come down.
Dugout.
He told us to come down and went to the dugout. He gave all three of us baseballs. It was sick.
That's awesome.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah. Well, also great Oriole. So great. AL East guy. I think he played for all 5 teams in the AL East.
Buck loved him. It would not surprise me. I don't know what he's doing now. Yeah. It would not surprise me to see him as bench coach or something of that nature.
Yeah, staying in the game.
Should be a hitting coach or something. That dude, all he did was hit.
Yeah, he was awesome. Speaking about all he's doing is hitting, it's flying under the radar because the Blue Jays are a dumpster fire, but Vlad Jr. is going fucking apeshit this last month. Last 30 games, 10 homers, 25 ribbies, hitting .414. He's got 46 hits in his last 30. Just completely trouncing the baseball right now for one of the worst teams in the league. Under the radar. Another Blue Jays thing that happened this week that was freaking crazy. Danny Jansen got traded from the Blue Jays to the Red Sox at the trade deadline. In May, the Blue Jays and Red Sox started a game and didn't finish it because it got rained out and it got postponed, and they finished it the other day. And Danny Jansen took the field for both teams in the same baseball game. He caught for both teams in the same baseball game. It's the first time anybody's ever done that in the history of baseball.
That's wild. That's wild.
I mean, that'll go down in history. It probably will never happen again. That's insane.
One thing I forgot about was when did Kikuchi start throwing 97, 98 miles an hour?
No idea.
I don't know. He was throwing 91 last year.
I know. I was watching the game last night, and Caitlin literally goes, "This dude throws hard," and I'm like, "Yeah, he's throwing 97 miles an hour." I was like, "These guns must be juiced," because I also saw Birch Smith running up to 99 a couple times. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if the guns were juiced or if something happened with him going to Houston and them fixing something in his mechanics, and he's just throwing gas now. But I don't remember him ever throwing 97 miles an hour per. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he was basically averaging it. It felt like.
I don't have an answer. It's a rhetorical comment, rhetorical statement, rhetorical question. Like the StatCat stuff that all ballparks use now, where are they getting the speed from? It's right out of the hand, or is it when across the plate? I don't know. But
So I've heard they changed this from when we were in college to now. It used to be they picked it up um, like further down because like further down in like towards the strike zone, but I think they pick it up right out of the hand now or something, or it's vice versa. I don't remember, but they have switched what they do since we've been in college for sure.
because I know, like in tennis, they always give the miles per hour, but that's
Mhm.
right off the racket. So that's when you see like 128 mile an hour serve. By the time it actually goes across the net, it's probably let's just say 100.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same baseball.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget who told me that. I can't remember if it was John, my college coach, or if it was Tim or somebody, but apparently it is definitely different since we've played. They made that change a few years back. And that's why you're seeing some elevated numbers. And I forget when it started, but I know it was a little bit ago. So I was like, man, I could have used every mile an hour.
You could have been hitting 91, dude. Yeah, I mean, the last thing I have for baseball stuff is top 5 prospect in baseball, basically on every list. Dylan Cruz, outfield prospect for the Nationals, is going to make his MLB debut tonight, and I hope he goes yard 4 times because they're playing the Yankees. Fun little fact about Dylan Cruz: he played at LSU with Paul Skeens, and they were drafted number 1 and number 2 in last year's draft. Dude's an absolute stud. They're adding it to their plethora of young talent over there with James Wood, CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore. Fun young team, the Nationals. Look out for it in the next couple of years. A lot of people gave their front office a whole lot of flack, and rightly so, because they traded Juan Soto, who's one of the best players in the league, and they got rid of Scherzer and they got rid of Rendon. That worked out. And they paid Strasburg, and he had to retire.
I'm sorry. Just the way you delivered that worked out. Because Randon sucks. He is a piece
Yeah, he
of
hates
crap. He
baseball.
doesn't even like playing baseball. He doesn't like playing baseball. He's a baseball player. Look that work.
But yeah, look out for the Nats the next couple of years. They could make some noise in the NL East.
Where's Cruz going to play? Is he going right in the center, or are they putting him in a corner
I would-
field? Where are they doing?
I don't know. I would imagine he's going to play center field because I think Wood plays right. I don't know who plays left for them. I don't know.
I don't know either.
We'll see. We'll find out tonight.
Yeah.
Wood looks like a power forward. He is huge.
James Wood, yeah, he's a massive guy.
He's massive.
You see his first 2 weeks in the league, he didn't pull a ball he didn't pull a baseball. And then his first ball that he pulled went 480 feet.
Yeah.
Hey, so before we get off the baseball topic, and talk about pulling balls, that sounded weird. We talked about it last week. Joey Bono retiring. We talked about how it was probably that time. It was kind of bad to see him squandering. Yeah, I'm happy he retired. He's gonna do great on TV. He might even be like we're talking about with Steve Pierce, might be the coach. He loves the game. It's the game that passed him by.
Yeah, big Joey Votto fan. We were kind of on the fence with him in the Hall of Fame talks. That's something we'll talk about and discuss more down the line. But I wouldn't be surprised if he got
Brian
in.
thinks he's in. Brian thinks he's in.
Yeah.
I do.
I think he'll probably get in. Not at the top of my list, but not a first ballot guy, but somebody who could probably get in later. But probably one of the last true guys that's going to play for one team his whole career. We're just not seeing that very often in sports anymore. 17 seasons with the Reds in a row. And then, he signed a minor league deal with the Blue Jays, but never got up to the main roster. And also, he's from Canada, so that was a hometown thing for him anyway. But really cool.
You and Canadians, man. I swear. Yeah, he's going to be like the seventh year on the ballot guy to get in.
The Todd
But having that MVP, his career average, I think he only has 300 change home runs.
Yeah, but
I think I might have mentioned this last week. There was the stat that he had one foul ball to the right side as left-handed hitter in 9 years.
Yeah. I think,
which is crazy.
In like his first 15 years in the league, he popped out like 3 times. He's crazy.
That's a model of consistency. Now, the one thing I'll say is he might be like Frank Gore going apples to apples with this football, baseball, a compiler. He stayed in the game so long that he compiled stats, but never was like crazy. Now he did win an MVP. The 1 year.
I mean, he's a stud. He was a really good player. He's one of the best first basemen in the league for 10 plus years. So
love to see him choke up on the bat like this every once in a while.
Yeah. I think that's all we have for baseball. We're going to move on to NFL. Like I mentioned earlier, we are going to do our NFL preview show Wednesday live at noon. So if you guys want to hear our takes on the NFL, tune in Wednesday live at noon or watch it. We'll have everything up on the social media stuff. We're going to go over under win totals for every team in the league. We're going to pick division winners, awards, Super Bowl matchups, potential sleepers in fantasy, guys you like. We're going to talk all kinds of NFL on Wednesday. So if you're excited about the NFL, join us then. We'll do some quick NFL notes, though. We have to talk about this really sad news. Joe Delisandris, Ravens offensive line coach, 70 years old, had 4.5 decades in football, passed away. Apparently, he had a surgery earlier this summer. He had some complications that led him to be hospitalized a couple weeks ago, and he unfortunately passed away. So, we're thinking about him. Prayers up for his family and all of his friends and everything. And this is just a big blow.
I don't have much to
It's very sad. I never heard this guy's name until this occurred, which is also sad because it seems like he was with the Ravens for a very long time. It really stinks. Hopefully the team takes a day or two off. I know we're about to get fired up for the season, but take a day or two off.
Yes.
Yeah. Reflect.
Yeah. In other news in the NFL, sorry, weird transition there, but it's always weird when we have to talk about that kind of stuff. It sucks. Nick Chubb is going to start the season on the PUP list, which means he is ineligible to play in the first 4 weeks. He tore his Achilles or ACL somewhere in the week 2 to 3 range last year. A lot of people thought he'd be able to get back before the season, but I guess they're not going to push him. No sense in it. So he's going to be available, I guess, come week 5. That's big for the Ravens because that's our division rival, and that's probably the best team in the division other than us. And he, when healthy, is certainly one of the best running backs in the league.
Nick Chubb has one of my favorite quotes from a college player of all time. He was at Georgia. He was with Sony Michel as well.
And DeAndre Swift and Todd Gurley.
Jesus. Yeah. And I guess social media was getting real hot at this time. I forget what year it was. It doesn't matter. But a reporter asked him, the other running backs were on social media and pumping themselves up. And some reporter asked Nick Chubb, why aren't you on social media? He goes, you ever seen a Lamborghini commercial? Greatness just shows. And that was it. Like mic drop. Yeah.
That's awesome. I've never heard that. That's badass. And the Patriots still took Sony Michel over him in that draft. That worked out. Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster got cut by the Patriots, which I found out this morning. Apparently that happened earlier this offseason. Signed a deal to return to Kansas City, where he had been before the Patriots. What a fall from grace this guy had.
That's
two
what I was
pretty
gonna
good
say
seasons in
is-
a row. He just kind of fell off the face of the planet.
He was the hottest thing since Pants Pockets when he was with the Steelers, and all of a sudden just fell off the map. He reminds me of Martavius Bryant. Remember that with the Steelers, who had like a freaking killer 2 years.
he just
signed with
signed.
the Washington Footballs, I think.
Just
Just
signed. He hasn't played football in 3 years.
Yeah.
He just signed.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was hot. This was a hot topic when he was wanting to get paid, and all the Steelers fans and everybody, all the pushback was everybody there was saying like, "Hey, the only reason you were good is because AB was on the other side,"
Yeah.
and it kind of feels like they're right. So.
Yeah. And I remember the Ravens tried to sign him for that 1-year deal a couple years ago, and he took a little bit less money to go to the Chiefs because he wanted to show out. And
Didn't do much.
And didn't really do much. We thought with Patrick Mahomes he would be rejuvenated, and he ended up signing a semi long-term deal with the Pats, but got cut after one season. So obviously they don't think he's much of a player.
The Steelers phenomenal at finding receivers.
Yeah,
like we're good. This is so bad to say, but the Ravens are really good at finding like special teams guys, like punter kickers. They're really good at getting receivers, but it seems like they immediately flame out whenever they go somewhere else. Kind of like what Ravens did with like all of our defenders. So Matthew Judon is an exception.
Just a different breed. Yeah.
But you remember like Hartwell, Paul Kruger, like they immediately leave the Ravens. They don't do well. Same thing with Steelers, their receivers.
Yeah, I guess the only two I can think of that kind of left and kind of were still pretty close to what they were with the Ravens was Jared Johnson when he went to San Diego, played really well there. Yeah. And then Adelius Thomas had a good career with New England. Do I think he was the same? Awesome. Yeah. Do I think he's the same as he was here? No, but I think he was still a great player there. But yeah, everybody else you named like that took these big deals. Never. You kind of don't hear about them as much anymore.
Yeah. Like I said, like we've said, we promoted it a couple times, so I won't keep beating you over the head with it, but we're going to do our NFL preview show on Wednesday at noon. So if you guys want to watch that, get our takes on that. We'll be talking NFL. We're going to move on now to golf. I know golf is kind of winding down, the second to last tournament of the year, the top 50, the BMW Championship in Colorado this week. Keegan Bradley, who is the Ryder Cup captain, may have just got himself onto the team with this win because he just jumped from 40-something place to fourth place in the FedEx standings and has a chance to win the Tour Championship and $20-some million and jump huge in the world golf rankings. I don't know if he'll make the Ryder Cup team. We'll see. It's far away out, but he jumped to 10th in the President's Cup standings, which means him as an assistant coach he's going to get a look from Jim Furyk, who's the captain this year.
Well, and Spieth is going to be out probably, right?
Spieth is out.
I guess we don't know.
Spieth is no, he's out. He's getting wrist surgery, or he might have already had it.
And when is the Ryder Cup? November.
President's Cup is in about a month or two. Yeah.
Yeah, and Spieth said he's out for 3 months with the surgery, so he's definitely out of the President's.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how much golf you watched this week, but it's awesome. I love Keegan Bradley. He seems like the man. He's been on a couple of the YouTube golf shows I watch, Bob Does Sports. If you guys aren't familiar, go watch that. It's like one of the funniest things you'll watch.
Well, it's awesome.
He's been on there, and if you just watch the hour-long episode they had with him and just hear him talk, he just seems like the most down-to-earth, genuine dude ever. So always good to see him win. Big fan of his. Top 30 golfers advanced to East Lake. 4 guys went up from below 30 and punched their ticket. Adam Scott, Chris Kirk, Justin Thomas, and Keegan Bradley being those guys. A couple guys fell out. Justin Thomas is the last man in. He is number 30, and Brian Harmon was the first man out, Mr. Waggle. But this is important because the top 12 finishers in this tournament get over $1 million, and the guy who comes in last gets $550,000. And the guy who comes in first this week takes home $25 million. So big tournament at East Lake. I don't know if you guys like golf like me, but I'm going to keep talking about it because that's my favorite thing to watch.
How many $?
$25 million to the winner.
Oh. Not that this matters at all.
It's a lot.
It's like you just don't get like a $25 million check. You don't get one of them big checks.
Yeah. A lot. Give it to me a big one.
You get it over like a 10-year span. I learned that the other day. Matt Pettit told me about it.
Yeah. All right, so that concludes all the content we have for today, other than our snake draft. And our snake draft today is going to be very controversial because I'm probably going to take some people that you guys aren't going to like, and you guys are probably going to take some people that I'm not going to like. I know our buddy Delaware Dave was a little upset with our beer list last week. We got a shout out to Del. We love you, buddy. Go to Pig and Brewster. Go to the Chaucer. Support our friends. Apparently, we suck at tasting beer, but hey, man, we're just doing our best. That's all we can do.
We're drafting quarterbacks. If you take Shane Falco, I'm going to throw my computer up.
No fictional quarterbacks will be taken in this draft unless you consider Phillip Rivers fake. Okay. Tom Brady is going to go number 1. He is the best quarterback of all time. And I don't really need to make an argument. Brooks is gonna give us the rundown of the votes from last week.
Yeah, Dustin won last week. I don't even have him up anymore, but Dustin won pretty handily. I think I came in second, and Brian got a whopping 2 votes.
One was me. I voted for myself.
Pretty on trend there. I mean, when you're taking old English 40s, and that was something that probably needed to be thrown to the to the boys for a vote, because I think
malt liquor.
I was gonna say, I think Old English is technically malt liquor. I'm not sure. I know some of those are beer, but that one I believe is malt liquor.
Man, you can take the boy out of Dundalk. You can take the Dundalk out of the boy. All right.
Yeah, Dustin won. I came in second, but I mean, realistically, Dustin ran away handily with that, which is fine. But Christ, the guy took Miller and Coors Light as his first 2 picks, and he's running away. Like, what does that say about you guys? What are we doing?
Miller Coors, man. Carry the script. Shout him out.
You know what? Who did Del vote for? Because I mean,
no, I think he
probably
he said on purpose. He goes, you guys have no taste. I think it might have been a direct quote.
All right. Well, anyway, so our order today is going to be me, and then Brooks, and then Brian. We're going to do snake draft style like we always do. We're doing the best quarterbacks of all time in honor of our NFL show coming up this Wednesday. And with the number 1 pick, I'm going to take Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. He's unassailable.
You're a cake eater. You're such a cake eater.
What do you want me to do? You don't want me to take Tom Brady? I got the number 1 pick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do you go? Yeah, Joe Montana.
Wow.
It's like,
wow.
It's like, do you go like most championships? Do you go best statistics? Do you go, who do you think is going to be the most athletic? Like, it's hard to like look at this. Do you go with who do you want to start a team with? Like, I don't know.
Look, I'm going to go with the best all around quarterback, like in terms of like, physical specimen, run in his day. I'm going to go John Elway.
Okay. And you get 2.
I don't know. And then I'm going to go with Johnny Unitas.
Wow, there it is.
Talk about pandering.
About pandering. I can't really argue with any of you, but there's a couple guys on the board that I did not think were going to get back to me. So, Brooks, I
got to go Manning at this point.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't. I can't believe you just got him 5th overall. I think he's the 2nd best quarterback of all time. But I mean, I don't know. Is Mahomes there? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes back to back here. And I know that's probably going to.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So I think Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes are going to go down as the 2 most talented quarterbacks of all time. Mm-hmm. But what are we drafting? Are we drafting the most?
We're drafting the best quarterbacks, according to you. Who's the best? I guess Aaron Rodgers won 4 MVPs.
I know.
One of them. Who would you start? Who do you want as your quarterback on your team? Start your team. Like that's it.
No, I don't. It's your preference how you draft. It's just I just didn't know which way I wanted to think about this as I was drafting. Is really what it comes down to.
Look, that's it depends. But I think I got 3 of the best 5 quarterbacks of all time on my team, so you guys are screwed. Brooks, you are back, and who are you taking at your number 3 slot?
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino is a great pick. Although in that game, he should have put the laces out. I don't know what he was thinking.
I'm going to go Roger Staubach.
Wow.
And
Going old school
Steve
with it.
Young.
Roger Staubach and Steve Young getting the monkey off of his back and getting drafted in round 4.
Oh shit.
A lot of good options left here. A lot of good
I know.
quarterbacks.
I know. See, I don't even know. Give me Drew Brees.
That's a good pick. I think that was the
Good
right
call.
pick.
Good call. They're the old they are. I remember him at Purdue. He went in the second
Go
round.
Boilers. Yeah. So herein lies a little bit of a thing where I absolutely despise this guy, but I'm gonna take him because he was really good. Let's go with Brett Favre.
I knew you were going to do it. I couldn't take him because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't like him at all, and I'm in between two for my last pick here. What do you got?
But I want to qualify. I shouldn't say he's a piece of shit. He's a massive piece of shit. And the reason is because of that Mississippi stuff where he was stealing welfare money. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Don't tell me you didn't send a dick pic to a woman because you deleted your cell phone or your text messages.
He also tried to sue McAfee for defamation. Like, fuck that guy.
Just a piece of trash. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to really disparage anybody, but when you hurt people, you deserve to be called a piece of trash.
Yeah. I'm so stuck between like 3 guys here. I'm gonna take Kurt Warner. I'm gonna take Kurt Warner. I can't take Phil over Kurt Warner. He's not better. I love you, Phil. You're gonna be my first honorable mention, but you're not as good as Kurt Warner. You're just not.
Did Rogers get all the Maryland boys? He got Roger Staubach, Johnny U.
John Elway was drafted by the Colts.
True. I like my guys.
Who you got? Who's your 5th guy?
Oh shit! I got one more.
Yeah, you can write one more.
Can you add? With the bat? I thought you'd think better with the bat, right? Like Head's had a few good men and thinks better with the bat.
I mean, I don't even know. I didn't even watch that guy play, so I'm not going to take him.
Slinging Sammy Ball?
No. Another guy I didn't watch play. I
think there's like 4 or 5 guys you can take here that I wouldn't be angry with.
I know.
I'm going to go a little stuff. So
give me Warren Moon.
Oh my goodness!
I was between him and Frank Tarkenton.
A couple of guys he wants the whole lot, huh?
Well, I've actually seen highlights. Like one of the guys that was on the list of names that I had was Otto Graham, and I'm like, oh, I didn't watch him. And like Sid Luckman and Bart Starr
also punted. I think he was a quarterback and the punter. Warren Moon. Well done. That's good job, Brooks. I applaud you.
Yeah. We got a lot of Super Bowls on the board, fellas. We got a couple guys with a whole lot of Super Bowls. I'm
not thinking Bobby Brister or Mark Brunell, I'll tell you that much.
Mark Brunell used to kick our ass when we were in the AFC South.
I'm going to go with another closet pick here. Doesn't get the pub, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. Ken Anderson. I know that is a very random one, but phenomenal quarterback. Career cut a little short. Should be in the Hall of Fame.
All right. Ken Anderson. It's not a name that I thought you were going to take.
Interesting pick.
A couple other guys that I was kind of bouncing between were Dan Fouts, Russell Wilson, Troy Aikman, obviously Phil Rivers, Large Ben, and that's all I got pretty much.
Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
I had Jim Kelly.
Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah. I think that's all my other ones that I had. Like I said, I said autogram and stuff like that, but I have no fucking idea about autograms.
That's the tough part. Is like I didn't get a chance to see Johnny Unitas play, but I've seen so many highlights of it.
Yeah.
But like Otto Graham, Wyatt Tittle, like all these guys, I don't.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
knew what
Like,
United
it's
did
just
for the
sports
city.
star.
Yeah. Look, I think if Russell Wilson hands the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the goal line, you can talk about him in this conversation. I know he's been kind of a disaster the last few years, but when that guy was good, he was so good.
All right. Now, question for the group. Is Russell Wilson playing himself out of the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think so. I think he's a Hall of Famer. What do you think? Do you think he is?
I think he is.
Wow, really? What if
do.
he has a good year
Right.
with the Steelers? Do you think it's back in them?
Well, we don't have to worry about that. Well, so, but I really, this is serious. I think they're going to start the season with him, and then they are going to go to Justin Fields at some point or another.
Yeah.
It's
I can see
easier
that
to
happening
start the
as well.
season with him and then go to Fields as opposed to starting Fields and going to Wilson and going back to Fields.
I agree.
I really think he's playing his way out of being a Hall of Famer. I mean, some of the shit you hear now about him, like he had his own office at Broncos. He would do like fake snaps and calisthenics on the team airplane on the way back from away games in the aisle. Like, what are
Doing
you
lunges
doing?
in the aisle? Yeah.
I mean, he still does fake snaps on the field.
Yeah. He's a weird guy. But
He's a weird guy.
anyway,
I was really thinking about Tony Romo was up there for me. Dan Fouts a good one.
Tony
Yeah.
Romo.
Yeah, man, he was really good.
We're comparing Dan.
yeah.
Brooks might take the bat to his own phone.
I
If
take
somebody
Shane
took-
Falco. I
if
take
somebody
Shane
took-
Falco over Tony Romo.
If somebody took Matt Ryan, I would have just jumped off the podcast. And I would.
At least Shane Falco was clutch.
Brent Tarkenton's a good one. Sonny Jurgensen. I'm going through a list here that I have.
Yeah, I think
Big
you can make
Ben's a
real
good one.
case for Big Ben, Aikman, Russell Wilson, Cherry Bradshaw, but the rest of the older guys, we didn't see any of them. And Brian's got two guys that nobody that watches our podcast ever saw throw a football. Maybe three guys. So he's
I got
probably
a
going to get.
couple.
Hey, by the way, on top of quarterbacks, I don't know if you got to see it yet on Netflix. The Steve McVeigh doc is really good.
Yeah, I want to
Is it?
watch it.
I haven't watched it.
about
I might watch
I mean,
that after this.
It's depressing because it's about his murder, but
Yeah.
it's just, it brought back some memories.
Yeah.
It was well done. It was well put together.
I just
God, I
watched the. I do want to watch that. It's been on my list to watch. I just watched the Wyatt Earp documentary on there.
How's that? I saw it pop up the other day.
It was good. It was good. I don't know much about like the Wild West Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday stuff for whatever reason. So like I just turned that on because it intrigued me, and I think it's like 5 episodes long. It was pretty good. Learned a lot.
Does it go over like the whole OK Corral? I hadn't watched all of it.
Yep. Yeah.
It
It goes over
on my list.
a lot
I've
of
seen-
shit. I didn't know anything. So I mean, it taught me a lot.
I've seen Tombstone probably 100 times over, so I guess I kind of know the story. I love that fucking movie.
Anywhere,
I might watch that.
anywhere in the movie, if I come across it, I stop what I'm doing and I watch.
100%. I love that movie. All right. Well, that's been another episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. Like I said, and several times, Wednesday live NFL show. Tune in if you want to hear our takes. Probably going to be some hot ones. We're going to do over unders and stuff.
Got some giveaways. We got some giveaways coming up.
We got some giveaways. We got new merch in a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, with the new hats. A couple guys I still need to get hats to. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Send us some questions if you have any NFL-based questions or any questions in general. We'll try to get to them in one of our upcoming shows. You guys have anything to say before we sign off here?
Nope. Thank you for all the people that watch. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you for just hanging out, listening to us talk about a bunch of jibber and jabber and stupid stuff. And as I always end, appreciate you guys. Love you. Best part about this, you can talk to my friends.
Dustin asked Brian, "Do you have anything left?" Nope. And then 30 seconds of something.
Gapper bat boy. All right. Go sit on a bald bucket. You block.
All right. We're going to finish.
Love you, boys.
Guys. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. I'll see you.
See you Wednesday.
Yep. See you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
Bye.